Welcome back. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a feel-good video. It's going to be on the topic of regret, but in a positive sense. It's going to allow you to basically clear your mind of things that you wish you could have done or should have done. Maybe they're past, maybe they're something that's going on in the present. And I'm going to break it down in a very quick video. So let me pull up my notes here and drag it over here to this screen. Every experience you've had has contributed to the state of your existence. It's contributed to how you think, what you do, and where you are. If you think things could have been different had I made a different decision, you are assuming your omnipotence. So basically, you're assuming that you know how things would have turned out had you made a different decision, right? So, if I had turned left instead of right, I would have been there 5 minutes faster. Well, maybe you would have got T-boned by an 18-wheeler, right? And your family currently would be at your funeral. So no, you do not know that. Okay. So don't assume that if you had done something different, things would have been better, because you may not have existed, which means that you may have been put in a different situation. You left 2 minutes earlier. You made one decision and you stayed at the office, 5 minutes later. You don't know what would have happened. You do not know what would have happened. So don't drive yourself crazy with these types of scenarios. They're not going to help you. How would you know? Playing the could have, would have game results in a never-ending series of undiscoverable hypotheses. They're undiscoverable. You can't know what the outcome would have been. I wish I could come up with more examples as far as, well, if it had been X instead of Y, then the result would have been, you can pick two different results. For some reason, I'm using death repeatedly because I like that example. I like that example because it proves that whatever state that you're in currently inherently presupposes that there's nothing wrong with what happened in the past, because it's led you here, right? You're here, you're alive, you're breathing, you're watching this, you're listening to this, you're able, right? Assuming you're able-bodied, like you have your senses, you're seeing me, you're hearing me right now, right? You have the ability to think, so you're absorbing information. Like, these are all good things. Like, who knows what would have happened to your state of existence? Maybe not death, but maybe, an accident. Maybe you would have got sick somehow and that would have led to something else. Maybe it's a butterfly effect, right? You make a decision and that decision affects somebody else's decision, and so on and so forth. So you don't know what would have happened. Maybe you did something that affected somebody else in a positive way or even negative way, but still you don't really know, right? You don't really know. Things could have been worse. So that's why when things actually do go bad, the best thing that you can do is just take the lesson and take the lesson, discard the experience, and just carry that lesson forward with you. It doesn't mean that you never make any changes. You just float about life and you make decisions, you don't reflect on them. No, you always reflect on your decisions, especially if they didn't turn out the way you would have hoped or the way you wanted to, or there was some kind of like negative outcome. You can still take the lesson from it. Discard the experience so that way you're not hung up on it. Like, I could have done this. It's like, okay, we'll just write it down. In the future, I've learned through XYZ situation, because of all of these factors, that this decision would be more prudent in a future situation that is similar to the situation that just occurred. Try not to use the words could have and should have, right? Especially in the judgmental context, that's not going to help you, right? You're going to drive yourself insane. So that results in a never-ending series of undiscoverable hypotheses. You have no idea what would have happened. No idea, especially the consequences. You don't, and their consequences, and the consequences of those consequences. It's more likely that everything that's ever happened in your life has led you to where you are, and what you are. This is the only reality that exists, here and now. This reality is the only one that exists. These other hypothetical realities that you're constructing with the could have, should have, they don't exist, right? And like I said, you can come up with 10, 20, 100, 200, 1,000 different realities. So you're never going to be at peace. You're always going to feel anxious because you're going to think of what your life could have been. Guess what? It's not. This is the reality. If things could have been any different, they would have been. right? If they could have been different, they would have been. So I hope that was helpful to just kind of like allow you to let go of that type of line of thinking, because it's not really productive or helpful. The best thing that you can do is, if you do have some kind of regret, you use regret as a true north. The opposite of regret is a true north. So, which means that regret is not a bad thing. It doesn't mean like don't feel regret, because regret is something that nobody else can control as far as what you're feeling. So this is something that you experience by yourself. So if you have some kind of like guilt or regret, just kind of use it as a true north, like orient yourself properly and just do your very best to act in accordance with the opposite of that thing. And when you do that, things are going to turn out better, right? Or if they don't turn out exactly the way you want to, you're going to come a little bit closer, like a little bit closer. You're making small adjustments. Just keep that in mind. So hope that was helpful to start your weekend. It is a Friday. Wait, is it? It's a Saturday. Is it Saturday? It is a Saturday. Saturday, 9:53 p.m. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and I'll see you tomorrow.